What happens when just you existing causes so much rage in others because of what they've been taught?
This is Blackgirlthought TV, honey.
Hey guys, welcome back to Blackgirlthought TV. I placed a warning in the beginning of this video because I will be talking about suicide, and that may be tricky for some of you. So I decided not to do my makeup because I knew that there's a chance I may end up crying. So on my Instagram, I tend to post kind of every day. It's usually really good content for when I can't just kind of get up and get in front of the camera. So I'm going to show you guys what I posted on my Instagram right now. So my brother is gay, and I remember growing up, like, the neighborhood boys like bullying him for being gay. Like, they had such a hatred for him, like they wanted to hurt him. And he would actually like get into fights, and it was all because he was gay. Like, that was it. Like just him existing like fueled hate in others. And I think about where these people learned this hate. And I used to be really religious, and there were a few things that really like triggered me, and I couldn't do it anymore. And one was, I was at church one day, and I remember the pastor saying, like, pray against the spirit of like homosexuality. And I have a great deal of gay friends, and my brother's gay, and something about that just didn't sit right. Like, something about it just wasn't right. And then my brother, I remember him saying he would cry to God and asked him why he made him this way. And being a part of any group or any sort of organization or believing in anything that makes my brother feel unloved, unwanted, I refuse to support it. Like, there's a certain kind of pain when, like, someone you love feels unloved by this thing that created, like, there's just a certain sort of pain, and I just despise it. I despise the ideas and what fuels the hate crimes. And like, it's crazy because the love is so conditional. It's like, I love you, but this is the very long list of things you can't be in order to get my love. And everybody would say, oh my God, God loves you anyway, right? Like, okay. So reading about this 9-year-old little boy who literally committed suicide because he was proud of himself, and he told someone at school, and that person said, you should kill yourself because living as a gay person is not like, how could you possibly support anything that would resemble that idea of you're not supposed, like the idea of you're not supposed to be gay and something's wrong with you, and boys should do this and girls should do that, and like, it's this woman has to bury her son because he wanted to go to school and felt a sense of pride in himself because she raised him right, like, to feel pride in himself and proud of who he is. And kids at school whose parents teach them that there are certain ways you should be and shouldn't be, bullied him. Like, it's parenting. Like, and a lot of you want kids, but if your kid was to be gay, you'd have a very big problem with that. And it's like, you really shouldn't have children, like, because you have no idea what love is. Like, you shouldn't conceive. You shouldn't. If you have an issue with your child coming out gay, you don't deserve to bring a child into this world, because they deserve love, and you have no idea what that is. Period. That's it.
So I'm gonna go keep crying and keep thinking about my brother and like and do all that I can do, because I refuse to not say something. I refuse.
So if you guys are familiar with this story, it's basically a 9-year-old. His name's Jamel Myles, and he committed suicide after being bullied at school. And he came out to someone at school, and the person he came out to was just like, you should just kill yourself. Even that right there, you should just kill yourself, is rooted in the idea that living, I'm sorry if I sweat, because I'm in my robe and my fan isn't on, so I'm sorry. Even the idea of death is better than living openly gay is heartbreaking. But what's even more heartbreaking and should be sort of more of a wake-up call is kids his age kind of already having developed ideas of homophobia. And we know that they get it from the media, but we know that they get it from their family and their parents. And you don't deserve to have children if you think that your child being born gay is a problem, period. I don't care. I think that if you're homophobic, you need help. And I just think it's disgusting. But this affects me in particular because my brother is gay. And you don't really understand hate until you come up close and personal. There are many stories I could tell, but I remember one time my brother, we were at a party and he was dancing, and there were a bunch of guys there and girls, and the girls loved when he danced and they embraced him, and the boys were a bit different because my brother's mere presence, just him existing gay, was somehow an attack to their masculinity. And we see that all the time in sort of the way in which society is constructed. There is just this really deeply ingrained binary, and if you're not one thing, you have to be the other, and just the mere existence of the other it could feel like an attack to some people. Just my brother existing felt like an attack. And he was dancing, and I was dancing with him, and we were having a good time, and these guys threw water on him. And my brother is no punk. He grew up having to fight because of who he was. I remember us having to leave because the guys then wanted to fight my brother. Like, just him existing, like just him dancing, just doing something that's not considered masculine or what boys do, was an attack on them. My brother was minding his business, and I saw it again when I grew up like in the hood where there were drug dealers like on the corner. You know, the guys that sag their pants and wear wife beaters, and there were so many times where my brother like would almost get into fights, and they just like bully him, and they just like call him horrible names, and he would just be trying to go to the store. And I have another brother who is like, you don't want to like fuck with him, he's crazy. Like, I mean, like guns and grenades, like, I mean, like, that brother's crazy. And that brother would have to like protect my brother against the guys outside. But within our household, that brother, I would see him abuse my gay brother. Like, I remember one time we were all eating dinner as a family, and my oldest brother came in. This is the one that isn't gay. And he just started like punching on my gay brother. And I'm certain there was no reason other than him being gay. And it's like, what happens when just you existing causes so much rage in others because of what they've been taught? What happens when you simply being yourself and trying to survive while also trying to figure out where you fit in the world. Like trying to figure out sort of how you can exist without hating yourself. How you can exist and feel loved and feel worthy, feel like you deserve to exist when everything around you tells you you don't. So hearing about this boy commit suicide that could have easily been my brother, and my brother, like, he protected me. Like, I remember one time this girl bullied me in school and we got into a fight, and I called my brother, and my brother came up there and whooped her ass, like no problem. And like, my brother protects me. Like, he, like, growing up, he protected me. Like, all my brothers protected me. So the crazy thing is a lot of the guys that would bully my brother would also try to have sex with him, and I'm just like, wow, like, you're secretly gay. Like, and it's interesting because any therapist or psychologist will tell you whenever we feel sort of this extreme hatred towards something, it's because it somehow reflects something back to us. It could reflect our shortcomings, it could reflect what we're doing wrong, it could reflect who we want to be, it reflects anything. So any sort of masculinity that's rooted in really stern homophobia is disgusting. Like, and it isn't a sort of masculinity that is rooted in doing the work and understanding that to be proud of something or to just exist as something doesn't mean you have to hate what is considered the opposite, even though everyone knows that fucking sexuality is fluid and whatever. So yeah, after just reading about these kids bullying sort of this 9-year-old, it's like your parents sort of most likely say that's okay, and it's just different when you see the hate up close. It's different when I used to be religious, so I've seen religion work itself out up close for years. And I remember one time someone got up on the pulpit and they said, make sure you pray against the spirit of homosexuality. And that bothered me, like, because here I was, this person who has plenty of gay friends, and I would bring my gay friends to church all the time because I was a dancer and just to bring them to church. And I love my friends. Love them in a way of, none of my friends could ever tell you that I said anything to them that had to do with them not being gay anymore or God doesn't like you that way. Like, I just, even when I was religious, I still just know, like, no, fuck that. Like, I know what it feels like to be an outsider. I know what it feels like to sort of continuously search to find your place. Like, I know what that feels like, so how dare I ever make someone feel uncomfortable in that way, or like they don't belong, or like what they feel is deeply in them is wrong. So then there was a point in which one of the deacons, one of the leaders, came up to me and she said, you have a lot of gay friends, and that means that God is calling you to, she said something to the effect like God is calling you to like change them. Like, don't forget, like, the reason that you're friends with all these gay people, like, they're drawn to you, and then it's your job to like sort of help them see the light. And I'm just like, what? Like, it offended me. Like, hey, you make all these friends by being loving. Like, so you make friends with the outsiders. You make all these friends by being loving and being yourself and being accepting. And we want you to then betray their trust and tell them that them existing in a certain way is unacceptable. And one of the final straws was when my brother would tell me that he would oftentimes cry and ask
like God, why'd you make me this way? And there's something about watching someone that you love sort of feel some sort of disgust with who they are and question why they are that way. And I just refuse to support any sort of thing that supports making others feel like the way you were born, the way you exist is a problem. Like, when you're not hurting anyone, when you're just existing, like, that's it. This is why I sort of push for us to kind of push the boundaries and push what society tells us to be, because it hurts people, and there are so many people not living their truth. And I am grateful for the people who I get to sort of watch and see live their truth, either in person or online, because they help me continue to live mine and just exist. So my heart goes out to anyone who's had to watch the hate up close, anyone who's ever felt suicidal for being different, anyone who's ever felt like an outsider, anyone who has ever questioned their worth and their value because they were different and because they don't fit in and because people don't understand them, anyone who's ever had to cry themselves to sleep because the world just says the way you are and the way you exist is not enough. The way you are and the way you exist is not how you should be. So you question the things that feel so sort of natural to you and a part of who you are, and you question the people you like and the people you love. So I'm sorry for being sweaty and moist. But I wanted to make this video and sort of openly send my condolences to the family, not only of Jamel, but of anyone whose family has gone through this sort of thing. I have a friend who, her brother overdosed on drugs and he struggled with sexuality as well. So people don't understand how far the hate goes unless you sort of seen it up close. It's different to read about it, it's different to sort of speculate, but it's very real when it's up close. It's very real when people want to hurt someone you love just because of their sexual orientation. This is Blackgirlthought TV. I am Annie Kins, and I'm gonna go finish crying because it's a lot. I will see you guys in the next video. Please stay safe and please love and be kind to one another. And please, by all means necessary, continue to fight for your truth. Continue to live your truth. And continue to do what you can to break down these barriers of hate and inequality. I love you guys. Bye.